Welcome to Jack Fleming Artistry. This is a treat today, at least for me. First time getting to letter on a Gasser. 57 Chevy 4-door wagon, freshly pulled out of a field, turned into a Gasser. Kind of cool thing on this, he's put a diesel in it for now, but he's actually building a blown LS engine to put in this, so it's going to be pretty fast. I love that he's keeping it kind of rough looking, or patina if you will, kind of leaving it with that sort of death trap looking feel. To me, that's really cool. In keeping with that, the lettering that I'm doing on it, I'm going to distress it and try to make it look like it's been on there just as long as this sat in the field, except for the gold leaf that we're going to put on this. We are going to do some gold leaf lettering, this part right here. I'll let the gold leaf stay really nice and shiny, but we'll distress what's going on around it. So if you're interested in techniques for distressed lettering, if you're interested in patina cars or gassers, keep watching this. I'll try to explain to you guys the stuff that I'm doing and show you every step that I can. So to get started, of course I cleaned it first, then as you see I'm drawing it all out on paper and then tracing it off to transfer it with Sorrel paper underneath it. That leaves these white lines that you see here. For the gold leaf, I'm using ducks. Quick set size, or quick dry, fast size. I don't remember. Usually there's about an hour setup time on this before you can apply your leaf. Going a little bit faster on this job. This was done a little while back while it was still pretty warm and there was fans going on in the shop. It's kind of why I'm doing all the voiceover on this. Way too noisy in this shop to be able to hear. One of the tricks that I've found with leaf, and I was talking to somebody else that's struggling a little bit with leaf here recently, is to try and get it on as thin and as smooth as I can. I try not to overwork it with the brush, but I'm trying to get that as being an even, kind of thin coat. As it dries, you can watch it with the size for leaf. It'll glass out really, really good within that hour. And that's good because then when you lay your leaf, you're not having brush strokes and stuff coming through on your leaf. Trying to be transparent on stuff here. Something I didn't show is I did put a little bit of imitation gold in my leaf or in my size in order to see where it is that I'm painting. You saw me rubbing it with my knuckle there. I was hoping that you could hear that in this video, but it was just too noisy. I'm testing it by squeak. When I hear a high-pitched squeak come out of it, I know it's time to lay this leaf on it. I am using imitation gold leaf, patent leaf, which means it's stuck to the paper. I find it to be a lot more forgiving. I'm turning it here, engine turning, with 3000 grit Trizac put onto a turning tool that I have. This is kind of cool right here. You can see I'm putting 2K clear on it. So I mix up 2K clear just like you would if you were putting it through a sprayer, but then I'm brushing it on. That way I'm protecting the leaf. Try not to touch it with my fingers, because with this imitation leaf, it'll tarnish over time, even underneath the clear. So try not to touch it with your fingers. 2K clear. I try to do 2 coats of this. That way there's some protection for the leaf. And kind of like that size, I want to work it out to where it's a nice, good, smooth texture. Alright, so this is actually another technique that I don't see a whole lot of people using that I really like. I think it really adds to the effect right. I matched the blue of the color of the car, and I'm painting the letters first with that. If you look at old distressed letters, the paint that was on there for the letters, even when it wears away, protected the paint underneath it. So a job like this where I've got the time and they really want to try and make it look authentic, match that color, paint the letters, and then I'm going to come back over the top of this with just a little bit of whatever color I think the letters should be, and let that kind of be really distressed off of there. I think it adds to the effect and makes it look a lot more authentic. Which, funny story, this car went to a car show like a day or 2 days after I finished doing it. I've got a little bit of footage of that show here at the end, but there was people that were arguing with the owner and telling him that that paint was on there forever. Makes me feel like I did my job. I'm doing the same thing too around these. They're going to end up having a black drop shadow on them, but I'm starting with the body color to make it look like it protected that paint on there, as if it was one shot or whatever else it would have been got worn off. Had a cool opportunity to visit the field that this car got pulled out of here and wanted to show you guys that. Super, super cool. All Tri-5 Chevys. And no, I'm not going to tell you where that is because it's not mine, so don't ask. So here's what I was talking about with coming back over with the color that I think the letters would have been painted with. I think a white letter for this part would have looked good. Would have stood out, but at the same time, black would probably stand out more, but that's what I kind of saved for the name of the car and not for what would be the sponsor of the car, which is actually the shop that built this car. Find it really important when you do distressed letters to try and minimize your brush strokes as much as possible, so that whenever you see the lines from the hairs and stuff and the brush stroke and the paint, it looks like it was pulled in just one pull. A good sign painter from back in the day would have pulled those letters in one pull, and as it distresses, you'd be able to see that. I think doing distressed letters over the years and paying attention, that's actually helped me get better with lettering. Always still trying to get better. If you guys are into this stuff, practice, practice. I know I've got a lot of room for improvement. For this black here, I did another trick that I figured out. I took some clear that I have, not the 2K clear. This is, I don't remember if I was using the one-shot clear or alpha clear. Probably one-shot clear because I just recently bought some big cans of it. Mix a little bit of black into that. That way the black that I'm putting down is transparent. Looks like the pigment's been sun bleached out of it. And then I try as I put my color down over the top of this blue to make it look like the top part of it, where the body kind of rolls over, would have caught more weather, so that part's weathered off more, so what pigment is left is on the bottom of the letters. And here, I always like sealing up the edge of the leaf using a white on this. I think it looks pretty good. If you had a black letter with a little white outline there before it gets to the gold leaf, it really kind of pops. Not really distressing the white on this, kind of like I didn't distress the gold on this. We're kind of a hybrid here, I guess. Not totally distressed lettering. Personal choice on this. I thought that would have looked better. Customer agreed, so it's kind of what we went with. Doing a little bit of what I call a trap line. I could be wrong on that term. If anybody knows different, correct me. But outlining the very outside of all of this with a little bit darker blue. Again, I think it helps it pop just a little bit. Probably would have worn off first. Over age, but again, not really going 100% on the name part there of just making it look really old. Even the pinstripes on this, though, I'm doing the same technique of using that blue first and then coming back with a little bit of color to try and make it look like they preserve paint underneath it. Kind of something funny on this. Jeff, the guy that's built this car, owns this car. I've known him for a little while now. I've done a few other jobs for him, and he's a funny guy. I like him. He calls the car Loco Gringo. On the driver's side, for the driver name, we put the Gringo, and where his wife sits on the other side, he had me put the Loco. Which we know it's not exactly how Spanish works, but it's Texas, so it's like Tex-Mex Spanish. I thought it was pretty funny. Something else cool that we did on this car, and I didn't catch any footage of, but towards the end I've got where you'll see a little bit of it. There used to be a drag strip in the town where he's at, which is Hallsville, Texas. And that drag strip's closed. He remembered growing up as a kid there. So on the back, on the tailgate, yeah, because this one flops down and then the glass part flops up, we put Hallsville drag strip and tried to make it look like that had been painted on there, either as a sponsor or something like that. So a little something there, just as a memory for those in the area when they see this car. Kind of honoring, I guess, that drag strip there. I think that's really cool. I like the history of areas and stuff. It's kind of neat. He was telling me a lot about that drag strip. Turns out that there used to be two there in the area. One of them, I guess, parts of it are still in a field in a friend of his property across the street from him, sort of deal. Just neat. It's always neat to see the history of racing. All that local history seems to be disappearing everywhere, especially with drag strips. So here's that show that we went to afterwards. The car was kind of a big success at the show, which was really cool. It was East Texas Roundup, pretty show. Cool little park that it's in. Usually gets a really good turnout. Had a little bit of a threat of weather this year. Here's the finished pictures of the car. Trying to show you guys everything we did on it at the distressed letters here. And then check this out. This is the tailgate I was telling you about. The little memorial, I guess, to the drag strip that was there. Finished letters, and kind of ended on this right here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If y'all have any questions, please let me know down in the comments. Click like, subscribe, go visit the website, jackflemingartistry.com. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Y'all have a good day. Bye.